Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanak and Anthony Matos, John Vias with the weather, and Gretchen Carey with the community calendar. Thank you for joining us. The Burlington Board of Health approved some tobacco regulation changes that increase penalties on businesses violating the terms of their permits and added some additional products to the list of what is prohibited for sale. It also clarified some language related to where nicotine delivery systems can be used. Health Director Susan Luminello said the proposed changes were mostly to keep the town in line with the rules set by the state. She said a municipality can impose rules and penalties for violating those rules that are more strict than the state, but cannot be less strict. One of the biggest changes comes in the form of increased penalties for businesses found selling tobacco or vaping products to anyone under the age of 21 years old. Luminello said the changes for any company found in violation with a 36-month period are: first offense, fine increased from $100 to $1,000. There will be also a permit suspension of 3 consecutive business days. Second offense, fine increased from $200 to $2,000. There will also be a permit suspension of 7 consecutive business days. Third offense, fine increased from $300 to $5,000. There will also be a permit suspension of 30 consecutive business days. Fourth offense, the Board of Health will hold a hearing to potentially permanently revoke the permit to sell these products. Other changes include adding any tobacco flavor enhancers and flavored rolling papers to the list of prohibited items. Finally, there was a proposal to clarify that the use of any nicotine delivery system, such as vape pens, are prohibited wherever smoking is prohibited. The board voted in favor of adopting these regulatory changes. A longtime married couple lost their wedding ring. With the help of 2 strangers and many hours of searching, they were able to retrieve the symbol of Joanne and Peter Fitzpatrick's marriage. BNEWS reporter John Vias has this story of lost and then thankfully found.
The wedding ring is a symbol of eternal love and commitment in a relationship. It was another day of yard work for Peter Fitzpatrick. When mowing the lawn, he realizes his wedding ring has gone missing and searches everywhere.
The only thing is, when I was driving the mower up, I had a pair of gloves in my pocket, and I see one on the ground. And I says, maybe it was in my glove. And I looked all around back and couldn't find it.
Joanne and Peter were high school sweethearts who met in Boston, and they've been married for over 55 years. Peter spent 2 weeks trying to search for the ring, but no luck.
I don't walk too good. I've got emphysema, I got a hip replacement, and I got cancer, bladder cancer.
But miracles do happen. Jay Barnes, founder of the Burlington Lawnmowers Dream Team, came in, contacted Brian Simeon of Brian's Metal Detecting in Malden, Massachusetts, and the two searched every nook and cranny of the Fitzpatrick's home exterior until they finally tracked down the ring that's helped keep this happy couple together for over half a century.
We met Jay. I couldn't believe how he recruited so many people with those detectives. He showed up and was willing to help me clean up a mess I had in the back.
First, we cleaned that area out. That's where we thought the ring might be. Took about 50 plus man hours. We contacted the Massachusetts Metal Group on Facebook. Other people came with their metal detectors in that area. No luck. But then I said to Brian, is there a chance you could look in some other areas? And he said, sure. And he looked, and then on his own, I was in the front, on his own, he finally looked in an area, open grass, wasn't mentioned as a possible place the ring could be lost. And he walks up to me and says, Jay, I found the ring. And I'm like, oh my word, it's a miracle. And
well, when I first got here, I assumed that we would find it pretty easily because I didn't expect it to be such a complicated situation. But when I saw those lawn bags out front, I was really, really worried it could be in one of some 100-something bags, and that seemed pretty daunting.
Right on his birthday when the ring was found, Peter couldn't express enough gratitude towards the 2 strangers who went out of their way to retrieve an important piece of his marriage with Joanne. The 2 couldn't be any happier.
It's been such a major part of me all my life, and it was like not having anything on your hand, you know. It was disturbing.
I mean, I think everyone in the metal detecting community tries to do good things because sometimes we're not always looked at as the best community. People have strange opinions about what we're doing, or they think we're stealing things or taking things or whatnot. So I think everyone tries to be a good ambassador for the hobby.
I feel very happy, and since it was from their first ever anniversary, it must be very special to them.
Unbelievable the job they did.
From the home of Joanne and Peter Fitzpatrick, this is John Vias for BNEWS Weekly.
A longtime Burlington elected official is stepping away to fully enjoy retirement after more than 50 years of public service. Planning Board member Paul Raymond announced at last Thursday's meeting that he is stepping down. Raymond had been on the board for 32 years, and before that was a town meeting member since 1971, when the town moved from open town meeting to representative town meeting, a change he had a hand in making. BNews spoke with Raymond to ask about his decision to retire. He said he would be 90 years old on his next birthday, and that his current 5-year term was up next spring, so he thought he'd give the Planning Board and Select Board an opportunity to find someone to fill out the remainder of his time. Raymond said he first decided to run for office because he could see that Burlington was on the cusp of change from being more than a rural town to an economic center, thanks in part to its location near 2 highways, and he thought he could help guide its growth. He said if you want a town to develop in a certain way, then why rely on someone else to do it? Other members of the board praised Raymond for his many years of service. Member Joe Impemba said he thought the announcement was bittersweet. Here he is.
I'm very sad that Paul's leaving. I can honestly say in the 32 years I worked on the boards in Burlington, I've never enjoyed working with anybody more. I've never respected, I've never admired anybody more than Paul. Paul has done, in my opinion, he's served with unwavering integrity. He's served with true values, and he's truly represented the people of the town of Burlington for every year that he's ever worked on the boards. And I thank him for that, but I'm going to miss him.
Thank you.
As an add-on to that story, there will be a joint meeting of the Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board to choose someone to fill in the remaining period of time on in that appointment. However, it's been a very short window and virtually no announcements, either in the newspaper, I believe, or on BCAT for that matter, that appointment might be available. So you can find it on the Planning Board website, or you can send a letter of interest to the Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board if you have interest in that appointment. Might also be good to call some of the members if you do have interest. A project to add additional parking spaces in front of Burlington High School is on pause for an indefinite amount of time due to both rising costs and some pushback on the part of some school committee members. At last week's school committee meeting, Burlington Public Schools Director of Operations Bob Kuna provided the committee with an update on a project approved by town meeting in 2019 to add up to 18 new parking spaces along the horseshoe in front of the high school. He said the project was originally approved for $60,000, but in that time, since construction costs have risen and the scope had changed, and if the committee wanted to pursue, the district would have to go back to town meeting for an additional $30,000 to $50,000. Kuna said the project was originally proposed because the high school lacks sufficient parking near the front entrance. He added that though people do park along the horseshoe, it is technically a fire lane, and that only idling to pick up and drop off people is allowed. Superintendent Conti said his recommendation was to either go before town meeting next May to ask for additional funds or cancel the project and return the money to the town's free cash account. There was some reluctance to pursue the project by some school committee members. Member Martha Simon said she was hesitant to use funds for a new project due to considerations over possible renovations of the building that might disrupt the new spaces. Member Christine Monaco said she had never been a fan of the project due to the fact that it would require tearing up some of the green space in front of the school. In the end, the committee decided to hold off on making a decision and to keep the funds in reserve in case they decide to pursue it at a later date. The new steakhouse Mooo is now open in the location formerly occupied by Landana. Under the same ownership and management, BNews reporter Tad Stefanak went to check out the rebranding and design and has this report.
The restaurant, formerly known as Landana, has been transformed into Mooo.
It was decided late last fall to go ahead and go into a new concept. Moving from Landana to Mooo, which is already a brand within our company. So certainly a totally different concept. You'll find everything new here at Mooo Burlington, a new modern sleek steakhouse in its design and also in its menu. A lot of boutique steaks. You know us for the left-hand side of the menu. A lot of the appetizers should ring familiar and some of the sides as well. But really, what we are honing in on is boutique steaks that you won't find elsewhere. The bar has been moved and now is the entire side of one of the facades of the building. It doubled in size, so 20-some seats. It's designed for dining, so we really want people to come in and have a dining experience off of the bar, and we really have geared it to that. But we haven't lost sight of what we were. There are some additional, what we call lounge tables available as well. So again, a little more intimate. They actually took place of where the old bar was. So it has a nice clubby feel to it. I think that you should expect something totally new. I like to affectionately try not to say the old name of the restaurant and kid around with that. But the restaurant that we formerly are, I think that we are really moving forward to being Mooo. And again, for people will see some familiarity in our menu. Hope that it translates well. But really, the dining room is a bit more sleek, a lot more booths to it, and an additional private dining is really what we've really excelled at. So now instead of one large room to facilitate just one party a night, we have 3 separate rooms, and again can accommodate from 10 until around 50 people in 3 different rooms.
From Mooo Burlington, I'm BNews reporter Tad Stefanak.
Burlington's community garden that is run by a handful of dedicated volunteers has seen a good yield this year despite the dry conditions and has been able to support healthy eating at the People Helping People food pantry. BNews Director Rich Hosford went to see how the garden was faring in this hot and dry summer, and he has this look.
Burlington's community garden, located behind Francis Wyman Elementary School, has been seeing a bountiful year and has provided a lot of fresh vegetables to clients of the People Helping People food pantry. I went to check it out and get the latest from Master Gardener Peter Coppola and Pantry Manager Julie Lewis.
The garden has done very well this year. We've been pleasantly surprised. I think it has a lot to do with the pollinate metal that was put in by the garden club for us last year. So a lot more of the vegetables have been pollinated and are producing a much higher yield.
Most of Massachusetts is in a severe drought that has caused municipalities to issue watering bans for automated irrigation systems, but Peter said that hasn't impacted how the garden is tended.
The good news is we've never used an irrigation system. We've always watered with hoses by hand. So we didn't have to change any of our watering techniques as a result of the drought, but we are more conscious. We water early in the morning before the sun reaches its zenith, so we minimize the evaporation through the soil. So reality, we've been pretty good. We didn't have to change anything.
The community garden has been a multi-year project, and those who care for it try new things each season to improve on what's working.
We made an effort this year to try different varieties and attempt to see which would do better. For example, we planted 5 different varieties of cucumbers because we just weren't successful with the cucumbers. So this year we made an extra effort to prepare the beds, to do some companion planting with things like radishes to keep the insects away. And trying the 5 different types of cucumbers, we're able to determine which will do best in our garden. So we do some experimenting during the year, and that's one that I think has been pretty successful.
Julie said the garden provides the food pantry with a wide variety of healthy items for their clients and that the amount they have received this year has been helpful.
We are really committed to having a huge portion of the food that we give to clients be fresh, healthy fruits and vegetables. So we really depend on the community garden at this time of year to bring in almost exclusively all of our fresh vegetables. So we get all of our greens, we get kale and chard. Right now we're getting peppers, eggplants, a lot of these really beautiful fresh vegetables, a lot of beans that our clients really love. The yield has been awesome this year. So far we're almost to 1,000 pounds that we've collected from the garden and been able to distribute right out to our clients. And then also this year, the grapevines have actually produced a year earlier than we were expecting, so we're really excited about that.
Finally, Peter says the garden is supported by about 10 volunteers who collectively put in roughly 300 hours a month. Julie said people helping people and everyone at the pantry appreciates their time and effort.
I mean, this couldn't happen without our lead volunteer, Peter, and also all the volunteers that come here every single week, multiple times a week. They're here weeding, they're watering, they're harvesting. I mean, it's a lot of work by quite a few hands, and we also get large groups, companies and other groups that come to help out with larger projects. So without all of that, this could never happen. This is a huge effort, and we're hoping to harvest 3,000 pounds this year, so it couldn't happen without a lot of help.
From the Burlington Community Garden, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Osford.
Congratulations to Peter and his crew of volunteers. As you all know, farming is not easy work. Massachusetts' $52.7 billion fiscal year 2023 budget, which was passed by both the state Senate and House this week, was signed by Governor Baker on Thursday. In a joint release from their offices, State Rep Ken Gordon and State Senator Cindy Friedman highlighted how provisions in the budget would benefit the district and the Commonwealth as a whole. They stated this budget upholds fiscal responsibility and makes targeted investments to strengthen the state's economy, protect the most vulnerable residents, and support the everyday needs of the communities and families in the Commonwealth. In the budget, Burlington is set to receive slightly over $3 million for general government aid, $9 million for Chapter 70 education funding, $75,000 for audio-video enhancements at the Council on Aging, and will benefit from $1 million from the Middlesex County Restoration Center Commission. In the latest news, BNews Health and Wellness, we look at how to improve your flexibility, strength, and balance in the fresh air with Sunset Yoga at the Burlington Mall, in partnership with Burlington Park and Recreation, and free Saturday morning yoga at 3rd Ave. Let's check it out.
Burlington has great ways to bring harmony to mind and body outdoors at the Burlington Mall and 3rd Ave.
Sunset Yoga, and it's outside here. It's beautiful space. Every night has been absolutely perfect, the weather. And we do about an hour class. It's a lot of stretching. You bring your own blocks, your mat. And then even after class, there's so many lovely restaurants that you can go grab something to eat, a glass of wine, anything you'd like. So you can make it like a date night even. Come and take yoga and go out and grab a bite to eat.
This is actually a 3rd Ave sponsored event, and they're really great at helping out the tenants who are in their space because we just moved in recently. So they sponsor this, and they've done it, I think, for a couple years. So people knew about it, and they showed up even without knowing about us for outdoor yoga, and it's already grown to double the size.
We have about 10 people signed up, and it keeps growing and growing. Every week, more and more participants are coming on board. It's been absolutely one of the best experiences I've ever had within the rec department, being outside and having this great space.
Hi, come in. This is one of my other co-owners. Oh, okay. Can I jump her in? Yeah.
Yoga outside balances your circadian rhythms. It gives you room to breathe a little deeper and connect with all the beauty that's around you. And it just has even deeper benefits for sleep, for recovery, for rest, and just connection.
They sign up through the rec center recreation department. There's a whole area of Sunset Yoga and outdoor classes they can sign in. If you are an out-of-town resident, you can sign up. You have the opportunity to sign up 2 or 3 weeks after the Burlington residents sign up.
People in general need yoga, but outside, I think people love the freedom of being able to be outside, the fresh air.
It's a fun place to be, and it really is a place where you can land no matter what's going on, and there's support. There's room to connect with other people, with yourself, with the instructors.
Just come, try it. It's outside. I mean, we don't even mind if you have kiddos who come and sit next to you or want to try. It can become a whole family affair. Like, it's really easygoing. It's a good workout, but it's also a great time to just decompress and unwind.
The outside, the space is amazing. It's quiet, relaxing. You don't even realize you're at a mall in this location. Like I said, I can't tell you enough how much I'm enjoying this, and we're hoping to continue more and more classes, maybe in the fall.
In our series, Who Works for Burlington, we talk to town employees not often in the spotlight. Up this time is Burlington Parks and Recreation Therapeutic Recreation Specialist Emma Jones. Let's have a look.
In our quest to bring you the stories of town employees not often seen in the news, we bring you the next installment of Who Works for Burlington. Up this time is Parks and Recreation Department's Therapeutic Recreation Specialist Emma Jones. Emma started her work with the department as a middle school volunteer and continued on in 2016 as an intern focused on inclusive services. She received her Bachelor's of Science in Recreation Management and Policy Therapeutic Recreation option from the University of New Hampshire. She then completed her internship at Burlington Parks and Rec and then passed the National Board exam, obtaining her certificate as a Certified Therapeutic Recreation Specialist. Emma says she was inspired to get into the field while working for the department.
I actually applied for a summer job at Burlington Parks and Recreation when I was in college, just looking for a job for the summer. I interviewed as part of the summer staff, and they called me and offered me a position on the inclusion team based off my interview and based off the need for the summer. And I took the position and I was really excited by it. And through conversations with my supervisor at the time, Laurel Roster, I was very excited about the field of therapeutic recreation, so I went back to school and changed my major.
So what's a typical day in her role?
A typical day is split between inclusion services and adaptive programs. That's the majority of my role here. So participants with and without disabilities can request extra support in our programs, and I work to provide that support. So that could look like providing a staff member who can step in and help that participant when needed. It can look like providing adaptive equipment or materials, or just checking in with that participant and seeing how they're doing throughout the program. And then the adaptive piece of my job is we run adaptive programs that are designed for individuals with disabilities. So we have adaptive programs for both teens and adults, as well as sport and fitness programs.
Emma explained the goals she has when creating programs.
The ultimate goal I have in mind is to make sure that everyone is having fun and safe. Those are the two big things. So making sure that we create a space that is accessible to everyone and that everyone feels connected and welcomed into the program, for exactly who they are as a person. We want to, welcome people in and make sure that our programs are a place where they want to be.
One rewarding aspect of her job is seeing growth in the people she works with.
Yeah, so a big goal of therapeutic recreation is to either improve or maintain the quality of life of individuals. And I definitely see that throughout our programs. Participants who have been coming for years, really growing socially or really learning to love a certain fitness or exercise program. We've definitely seen growth with our participants over the years.
The positive impact the programming has for people is reflected in the feedback she receives from them and their families.
I would say families are excited to see these services accessible in Burlington, and that they don't have to drive miles and miles to access recreation. We want people to be able to do so right here in our community. That's one of our just really important values, is that we want people to have access in the community in which they live to meaningful recreation. So feedback we've gotten is that people are really thankful that these services exist here in Burlington and are excited to see them grow.
Emma added she works hard to ensure every resident can take advantage of all the programs the department has to offer.
We want recreation to be meaningful to the individual. We want them to look through our brochure and find activities and programs that mean a lot to them. Everyone has really diverse interests, and it's really important to us that we're offering a wide variety of activities that everyone will be interested in.
Finally, she said she enjoys working for Burlington Parks and Recreation.
I love working here at Burlington Parks and Recreation. I started way back as a volunteer when I was in middle school, so it's really meaningful to be able to provide these services in the community that I grew up in.
So now you know who works for Burlington. We'll be back with another edition soon, so stay tuned.
Burlington Women Aid recently held a pool party fundraiser for Dawn Mooney and Mara Gilday, two Burlington residents struck by a motor vehicle in early June. Both women suffered severe injuries and are expected to have long recoveries. The event was generously hosted by close friends of Mooney, Brian and Diana Segul. 100% of the funds raised are going towards Dawn and Mara's recovery efforts. The Family Fund Family fun fundraising took place on a 97-degree day, making the pool particularly welcoming. 2 certified lifeguards were on duty. The Pizza Works donated 10 large pizzas, and participants brought potluck desserts, appetizers, and beverages. The big event to raise money was the cornhole tournament. Silent auctions were a hit, with winners taking home tickets to see Lizzo at the TD Garden, tickets for Eric Clapton, also at the Garden, and round-trip tickets for 4 to Block Island, and Red Sox tickets. Donations are still being accepted to help with Don Mooney and Margilday's rehabilitation and healing. Go to burlingtonwomenaid.org, that's up on the screen. Yes, our crack staff has that there. And use the donate button or to make a contribution via Venmo at Burlington-Womenaid. The Burlington Cal Ripken U11 baseball team capped off a great season by making it all the way to the championship game of the regional tournament in Maine last week. BNEWS sports reporter Anthony Matos went to interview the coach and some of the players, and we have this look.
Burlington's 11U Cal Ripken baseball team have returned from the regionals in Maine with a well-deserved sense of pride after securing a second-place finish in the competition. The team's journey to the championship game started with a 7-2 win over Skowhegan, Maine, followed by a close 7-6 victory over Milton. They then had a bit of a setback by losing to Andy Valley, Maine, scoring 1 run to the competition's 7. They rebounded and secured a 5-4 win over Concord, New Hampshire, and then had a dominant performance over Marblehead with a 12-2 win in 5 innings. Unfortunately, they came up short in the championship game against Andy Valley with a score of 1-5. BNews sports reporter Anthony Matos met up with the team after they returned home and started by asking Coach David Landino how the team felt heading into the regionals after securing the state championship here in Massachusetts.
Entering districts, we knew we had a chance because we won last year. Came back out of the losers bracket. Once we swept through districts and went on to states, we were pretty. We expected to win, but to be state champs was a pleasant surprise. And then heading off to regionals, at that point our confidence was pretty high, and to be regional runner-up, pretty big deal for the kids. So we were very excited.
Anthony also spoke to some of the players about their thoughts on the experience and the team's performance.
In the first couple of games, we didn't play our best baseball, but we still battled back and won all of our games. And then in the end of regionals, we really got back on track.
I think we felt good. Just not the result we wanted in the finals. But yeah, I think we did pretty much good. I think we did good.
I think it went good. Like, there's many teams in Cal Ripken, and we made second place. That's a pretty good overall for a town called Burlington.
I think as a team we did really good, and we had ups and downs, but we did really good in the tournament.
Finally, Coach Landino said he is looking forward to the next season and believes that once again the team will rise to the challenge.
I mean, these kids just keep getting better, and next year we'll be playing on in the 1270 tournament, so 70-foot base paths, which involves leading, stealing, all that sort of stuff, so the game's a little bit quicker, and I think that'll benefit our team.
Congratulations to Burlington's 11U Cal Ripken team, and we'll give you the last word, boys.
The heat and dry conditions have remained, and it looks like they're here to stay for at least a little longer. We go now to BNews reporter John Vias, who's filling in for weatherman Peter Brown for a look at this week's forecast. We'll also check out the community calendar with Gretchen Carey to see what's happening in Burlington.
Hello and welcome to your weekly BNews Weather Report. I'm John Vias filling in for Peter Brown, who's away this week. We start our forecast with a hot day on Friday with temperatures nearing a high of 89 degrees. Saturday will also be sunny, but slightly cooler with a high of 86. And Sunday will again see temperatures in the high 80s by getting up to 88 degrees. Now as we head out of the weekend, we'll see temperatures rise even more. Expect a high of 91 on both Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday remains hot with a high of 89. The week could end with a bang, however. Though it's still too early to say for sure, the project high for Thursday and Friday of next week is a whopping 97 degrees. Now that's warm. And that's it for this week's weather report. I'm John Vias, saying as Peter Brown always does, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
Hi, I'm Amy Poehler, and you're watching BCAT. Go Red Devils.
Hey everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your community calendar. Caravan Puppets, The Emerald Isle. Tuesday, August 2nd at 11 a.m. Come to the Burlington Public Library for a wide diversity of puppets and interactive puppetry styles with original music and positive messages for children and caregivers. Visit burlingtonpubliclibrary.org for more. Safety Night. The Burlington Police and Fire Department, along with partners 3rd Ave Burlington and Wegmans, are once again hosting Safety Night, Wednesday, August 3rd, beginning at 5 p.m. A close-up look at cruisers, trucks, first responder equipment, and canines. Free hot dogs, snacks, and beverages. For more information, call 781-418-0700. Celebrate Burlington. Celebrate Burlington is just that, a celebration of Burlington and its residents, happening on Saturday, August 6th from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. on the beautiful Burlington Town Common with activities, events, performers, and fireworks. The Classic Car Show at 5 p.m. and a 7 p.m. concert on the gazebo and fireworks at 9 p.m. For more information, visit burlingtonrecreation.org. I'm Gretchen Carey, and that was your Community Calendar.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo shows that everyone needs a little break during the day. It was sent in by Burlington resident Linda McNamee and features a service dog in training at the Porthole Restaurant in Portland, Maine. He's catching a quick, well-deserved snooze. Fun fact, the Porthole Restaurant was once featured on the Food Network show Diners, Drive-In, and Dives. Thank you for the photo, Linda. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of your summer activities, family and pets, the weather outside your front door, or anything else you'd like to share. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. Okay, that's it from the news desk here at BNEWS Weekly, but don't forget there's a planning board opening. You can visit the planning board's website. You can call the Board of Selectmen's office or Select Board's office or the planning board's office to express your interest in filling that position. There'll be a meeting August 4th, I believe. Again, you can find that out from either of those two offices if you have interest. This is a very important board and has a lot to do with the development and redevelopment of Burlington. Okay, that's it for me, Phil Gallagher, along with Rich Hosford, Tad Stefanak, John Vias, Anthony Matos, and Gretchen Carey. Thank you for joining us.